Okay, so you want to buy a house in Calgary, do you? Well, our market has become very competitive, with many sellers fielding multiple offers on their properties when they go to market. We've all heard about the bidding wars going on out there, and it's likely to be a big part of the narrative for Calgary real estate consumers for the foreseeable future. But how does it work? What are the rules of the game when you find yourself in a bidding war, and how can you win as a buyer? Well, today we're going to dive into everything you need to know about winning in bidding wars in Alberta. We'll go over the rules of the game that buyers, sellers, and realtors must follow, and I'll give you my tips for how to win when you find yourself in a multiple offer situation. Are you ready to get going? All right, let's giddy up. Okay, so to understand the basics about buying and selling in Calgary in 22, be sure to check out the videos I've made tailored towards buyers, sellers, and investors. And if you're a Calgary real estate consumer, you'll want to be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on the best content from our award-winning real estate company. So what exactly is a bidding war? Well, this happens when more than one buyer wants to purchase the same property at the same time. And in Canada and most of the US, the most common practice for handling multiple offers is called blind bidding, meaning that buyers do not have any knowledge of the offers of the other buyers that they're competing against. Now, it might seem a bit unfair to buyers, but the reason for this protocol is that it almost always results in a better result for the seller. And since it's the seller's house that's up for sale, the rules of the game are set to favor them. So what are these rules? Well, we're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and the biggest assets that sellers own and that buyers are trying to buy. And so you would think that there would be a highly evolved process with a very strict set of rules to follow. But I have some news for you. It doesn't quite work like that. Yeah, there are rules within the Canadian Real Estate Association and most local boards that serve as a guide, but they almost always include a caveat subject to the seller's lawful instruction. Now, in practice, it's usually the seller's agent that advises the sellers on the best course of action to follow to maximize their position. I mean, that's what you hire a realtor for. So the agent will advise the seller, who will in turn lawfully instruct their agent towards the advised course of action. This means that as long as the seller and their agent are not misrepresenting anything, then they're largely free to do whatever they want to get the best deal, which sets the stage for all kinds of gamesmanship for hotly contested properties. Sellers can set a date by which all offers must be received and reviewed, or they could choose to work with them as they come in. They can verbally negotiate with one party or several until they get the deal that they're after and finally decide to put it in writing. Sellers' agents are required to provide all written offers to their clients, but sellers are not required to open lines of communication and dialogue with all offers or share information equally with buyers' agents if they choose not to do so. This can be frustrating for buyers as they can be left feeling completely in the dark on a very big ticket purchase. So how can you play this game and win as a buyer? Well, I have 8 tips for you. Okay, number 1, my first piece of advice is to work with a smart, hardworking agent. Your realtor will have the most up-to-date information about pricing and pace of sales, which will help you decide how much money you are comfortable in offering. Your agent also knows the game better than you do, as it's their job to win these bidding wars for their clients. So heed their advice and trust their experience so that you don't make an amateurish mistake bidding on your dream home. Number 2, make sure you have the money thing sorted out before you start writing offers. Get the assurance you need from your mortgage broker if you are considering leaving out a financing condition to make your offer more competitive. It's very important that you're confident about your financial position before you start writing offers to keep yourself out of trouble and stand the best chance to get a good deal. Number 3, keep your offers as clean as possible. So no weird creative terms, and ideally as few conditions as you need to feel comfortable in writing. A confused mind will always say no, and so we want our offers to be as simple as we can make them to win out over other buyers. Number 4, when it comes to pricing, ask your agent to to show you the most recent 100 sales to have occurred in Calgary. Just get a list of them and check the days on market and the sale to list price ratio. If you're seeing average days on market creep below 10, then it's fair to say that most of the sales are occurring in multiple offers shortly after properties hit the market, with sellers giving buyers just enough time to see the property and make their bids before the seller decides which offer to accept. You can also ask your agent to show you the listing price to sale price ratio, and if it's up over 99%, then you know you're likely going to need to be over asking in order to get the property. Number 5, when your agent submits your offer, make sure they inform the seller's agent that they have the option of countering you if the offer is close but not quite there. Sellers don't have to take the offers as written. It is customary to have a few exchanges with the best offer to get all of the finer details arranged before it is finally signed and executed by both parties. Number 6, if you're going to offer significantly more than the asking price, then try and get your offer into the seller as late as possible, ideally just before they are being reviewed by the seller, so that the listing agent has less time to play your offer off of all the other buyers in an attempt to outbid you. Number 7, try and get the seller's agent to disclose to you at which point in time they will be reviewing the offers. And if they tell you 7 p.m. tonight, then call the listing agent at 6:30 to confirm they're still on for 7. If 7:30 rolls around and you've not heard from the seller's agent, it's a good bet that your offer is not in first place, as it's usually quite obvious which offer is best, and the seller will begin working on putting that one together right away. If you really like the property, then you could submit another offer straight away, which the listing agent would have to present to the seller, and if it hasn't been finally signed off, you might be able to sneak in. Number 8, now if you lose the bidding war, consider positioning yourself as a backup offer to the one that won out. When panic buying starts to set in, and it kind of is in Calgary right now, then you will see buyers get cold feet after winning. Did I really just pay that much for this house? And if fear takes hold, some may try and back out of deals after they've been agreed. So being positioned as the next most eager buyer in line is never a bad thing, as some of these deals come apart just as quickly as they came together. These are just a few tips to help you win out in a bidding war as a buyer. But remember, every property and deal is a bit different. So make sure you take the time to talk with your agent about just how fast the market is moving and what the appropriate strategy is for the property you're considering trying to buy. The best course of action is to be as informed as possible about the market conditions for the specific type of property you're looking for and the communities you are considering. Knowledge is power, after all. Thanks very much for watching, and good luck out there this year, guys. Talk to you soon.